Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have The Incredibles. This is the 2004 Pixar film. It runs an hour and 55 minutes long, and yeah, I can't express just how much I love this film. it's a superhero film. It's what I know. This comparison's been made a ton, but the inspiration is obvious. This is technically what a Fantastic Four film should have been, even if Johnny and Ben are not little kids. Uh, in this sense, it works so much better with two kids, mom and a dad. Oh, three kids, sorry, three kids, mom and a dad. So the nuclear family kind of situation. Then a bunch of adults, doing fantastic things. Uh, Hopefully, the next Fantastic Four movie will get it right. Anyway, we'll get past that whole Fantastic Four stuff. Uh, Maybe we'll see. But yeah, there's so many everything from the directing, the editing, the music, the characters, the voices, everything. Um, it's got to make sure I remember everybody here. Craig T. Nelson and Helen Hunt playing Robert and Helen Parr, Mr. Incredible and Elastigirl. Uh, they're the main two characters of this film, and their children, Violet and Dash, and Jack, the baby, who is mostly sidelined, but is very, very important to the story toward the end. Honestly, if you it came out in 2004, so I'm going to obviously spoil some things. If I am going to tell you straight up, you should have watched this by now, and if you haven't, stop watching this and watch that. Go watch that right now, because it's worth every second of your time. Assuming you like superhero films. If you don't, then well, whatever. It's a Pixar film, and you know how Pixar films tend to. There's always a moment where it kind of makes you want to cry. There's always an emotional tug. This is not an apparent. I don't know. You're gonna cry moment, but there are a number that nearly make me cry every time I see them personally, even though they don't look like the kind of moments that you would cry in. They just come down to editing and the music. Michael Giacchino, who is known for working on so many projects in Pixar and Disney films and things like that, and he did Lost. He's done. His resume is huge, I guess, because he works so much, works so fast. He gets a lot of stuff done, and his musical style in this is like this retro, mid-century. Almost, actually, the weird thing is it's not necessarily superhero type music that we'd expect, like you hear in the Avengers or whatever, or the other films. This is very much a spy craft, a James Bond kind of theme that you would expect to hear with Roger Moore, Sean Connery, doing the action. So and there's also a lot of visually. It's also a retro mid 20th century styling with just the sets and the place, the house they live in, especially Edna Mode's mansion, and also Syndrome's secret island volcano lair. They're all throwbacks to the mid 20th century in style when it comes to furnishing and everything else. It's just freaking gorgeous, and it fits together so well, rather than just doing normal superhero type sounding music. It's a conscious choice, and it's fantastic. I've listened to the soundtrack many times just to get my juices flowing and writing and whatever else, and just getting work done. It's so perfect for that kind of thing. So I highly recommend the soundtrack. What is also great is the cast. Like I said, Craig T. Nelson and Helen Hunt. Holly Hunter. Helen Hunt. Where did I get Helen Hunt? Helen Hunt. It's all this alliterative HH. Sorry. Holly Hunter. Sorry, Holly Hunter. I'm sure you're watching this, and please accept my apology. Holly Hunter, with that little bit of southern twang to her voice. We also have Jason Lee as Syndrome, and we also have gotta get these kids' names right. Um, Spencer Fox and Sarah Vowell. Sarah Vowell's not a kid; she's an adult, but she's great at playing Violet. We also have appearances from Wallace Shawn. You recognize him from Princess Bride and so many other Disney projects, and also Star Trek Deep Space Nine as the Grand Nagus. Yeah, and so yeah, oh, Samuel L. Jackson is Frozone, of course. He's worked in many. He gets to be a superhero this time, and not just the director of Shield, the former director of Shield. But there's so many great moments. Like I said, the getting back to the moments I nearly cried. Like I said, it's come down to editing. It's the moment of discovery for both Bob and Helen, because when Bob is discovering the plot with the robot at the computer screen, and Helen discovering that Bob has not been doing the things he's been doing, where she's been told he's been doing over the last few months. That he's off on a secret island doing who knows what, possibly having an affair. It's there's the music just builds and builds, especially as Bob tries to make his escape. And it's the gooey ball scene that takes him down, and just it's so freaking well done. But that scene does not compare to the flight scene. Now the thing is, Brad Bird, the director, and also the voice of Edna Mode, he's also known, by the way, he's known for also directing, creating Iron Giant movie. So if you like that animated film, you know this movie was in good hands from the start. The scene, what he's been really good at is creating not just, hey, look, here's some characters and we're throwing them into action, superhero, punch him up, boom, defeat the bad guy. It's not just that. He's created a rich, detailed history. We only get a peek at some of these characters, some of the heroes of the past, back before they were all forbidden, and we get a peek at what the world was like. We get an idea of how things fit together, and it's just brushed upon. And especially when we're talking about the characters themselves, Bob, we get a pretty good feeling of what he's all about. But Elastigirl, Helen, is a bit of a mystery. She is fully capable, and more capable in many ways than Mr. Incredible. But Helen has a lot of skills that they never bother explaining, but we're going to go with it because this woman's amazing. She's capable, and she's not only just running a house with 3 rambunctious kids, 2 of which she knows has powers, 1 she doesn't. She suddenly, borrows a plane from a guy and takes off towards this island, not knowing that her kids have stowed away. But when she finds out she does, that they have, and then there's suddenly missiles being launched at them from the island, she's trying to communicate with them to tell them, call off the attack. There's children on board, and you just get goosebumps because she's trying to give her kids commands like they've always been superheroes. And even though Violet complains, like, we're not supposed to use our heroes, the superhero powers, you told us not to, and she's like, as a kid would, as a teenager would, and she battles back with her, and of course Bob is listening to this, captured by Syndrome, listening to this, knowing that his family is in danger and he can do nothing about it. And the music and the editing and the action of the plane moving just builds and builds and builds until the final instinct, when Violet cannot create that force field to protect the plane, Helen, Elastigirl, leaps back from the controls, surrounds her children with her own body, and the plane explodes around them. And they survive because the suit's pretty much indestructible that she's wearing, and that's the only thing that saves them. If she, had not stopped by Edna's place before going on this mission, they'd all be dead. And of course, the heartbreak that Bob feels when he believes they're dead that's the emotional, the big tug, that whole the build up of that is for me is just my probably my favorite scene. So it's I can't I could watch that scene over and over and over again and find something new each time. I discovered that not only did she grab her kids, but she also I mean I saw this plenty of times. I've seen this movie a bunch of times. I think the last time I saw it was when Incredibles 2 came out, and I got to see a double feature in the theaters. So long ago. See, she also grabbed the bag, which had their clothing in it. So she grabbed not only children, but the bag that had their super suits in them. Even though I don't know why they would need the bag, except that it had their masks in them. So rather than her grabbing her kids and like, let me get some masks while we're at it, she just grabbed the whole dang bag and the kids, and they plummeted to Earth. Although I didn't see the bag when they landed in the water. How did they find that in the meantime? Anyway, either way, that doesn't ruin it for me. Right after they land in the water, that's when we get to see what 2004's rendition of hair and water and wet hair looks like within a Pixar film, and it's fantastic. To me, it was just that kind of animation, the realism that they bring to that kind of stuff is just breathtaking to me. And honestly, when you look at this, when I saw that double feature, the animation in this, you can see kind of the deadness in the secondary characters' eyes. They put a lot more effort, obviously, into the primaries, but like the policemen or the background characters, not as much work was put into them, so they kind of look flat, glassy-eyed. And one of my things that you notice is how they animate inside the mouth. Like, they don't put as much work into that as they do in more modern versions. So you watch Incredibles 1 and then follow it up with Incredibles 2, you can see the leap in quality of animation. Not that the original one from 2004 was bad. It's an astronomical leap to the second film, and it's astounding. The foundation and then the offshoot is just amazing. You didn't think you could improve on something so good, and they did it with Incredibles 2, animation-wise. I was tempted to watch it again, Incredibles 2. I might still tonight, who knows, if I have the time. But, yeah, it's... and by the way, in case you're not aware, don't go jumping in Incredibles 2 without seeing Incredibles 1, as if you would do that. Because literally, Incredibles 2 takes place mere minutes after the original Incredibles. So, it's kind of cool. And, again, a lot of you guys already know this, but if you don't, there is a short, I think it's called Jack Jack Attack, and it gives you an idea of what was going on while Carrie was babysitting him while everybody was off on their island adventure. And you get to see Jack Jack exhibiting all sorts of powers for the very first time, other than the scene up in the air in the final moments of the original film. So, yes, I've spoiled everything, but again, the movie is 15, 16, 17. It's really old. So, yeah, 17 years old. So, again, I told you to stop watching if you didn't want to be spoiled. So this is on you. Anyway, again, this is one of my favorite films, and there's so much. Like, again, every time I watch this, I find something new, but I can't love it any less. It only gets better with each viewing, and it's... Well, yeah, while there are so many other Pixar films and so many other superhero films that are great, this is kind of quintessential. This is kind of astounding for what it's worth. But I think Brad Bird has a pretty good grasp on all this. He's the family unit is such a strong focus in this, and so there's still a very real family. and yet this is also a humongous adventure at the same time. Uh, and it's I had this all thought out, and now my brain is just um, it it differentiates. Um, it has a sense of realism about it because there's a moment where Helen describes the kids and says that the world that they live in is real, not like the cartoons they watch where the bad guys are gonna pull back and not gonna harm anybody. They will kill even children, the bad guys in this, and they need to take care of themselves. They need to watch out for themselves, and that's a hard lesson to that. You just suddenly, after all these years, saying you are not allowed to use your powers. Now, guess what? You're in the thick of things, and you need to use your powers to stay alive. They this is There's so much action in this, so much fun that kids will enjoy, but at the same time, this is so much an adult film, not adult, but it's a much more mature film with real family issues. The fear that um, Helen has when she finds out that Bob has been lying to her is not that, oh, maybe he's out, not just superheroing. It actually gets worse when she feels that maybe he's been cheating on her, and that's kind of a really heavy thing. And also, it's a really heavy thing to put into a superhero action film. You but you do understand when you see them just how in love they are. Bob and Helen are so much in love, and Bob. Another one of the heartbreaking moments is the fact that when he tries to go fight the Omnidroid, licensed with approval from Lucasfilm, using the word droid, the moment that he steps away, he's like, "Hey, I got to take care of this myself." He admits that he cannot lose him again if he allowed Elastigirl and the kids to help. She's like, "What's your problem? You think we can't help, or that she can't help?" He's like, "I can't risk losing you," and that's a beautiful, heartbreaking moment of true love. So I think, but working as a team, they defeat the bad guy in the end, and that's pretty freaking awesome with the help of Frozone. By the way, one of the cute little things I saw for the first time here while I was watching the credits and listening to the soundtrack. There's always, whenever you watch these, especially animated films, not just live action films, but especially animated films, they take such a long time to make, and they also put a list of the production babies, the babies that were born during the time from the start to the end of production. And one of the babies born during this time was named John John. I'm sure at some point he might be known as Jack Jack. So he's the official Jack Jack baby of The Incredibles. So born to one of the crew members that worked on the film. So that's kind of cool. All right, I think that's all I can say. I could talk forever about Incredibles, and you probably don't want me to, so we're not going to do that. We're going to pick tomorrow's episode.
398.
398. 398. Okay. Oh, okay. I know what this is. I have never seen it, but I've seen it around. This is a series, and it's for kids. So we're gonna probably watch maybe one, at most two, unless there's it's a multi-parter. But this is for little kids, so odds are we're not gonna watch more than one, at most. We're watching PJ Masks. All right. Yep, PJ Masks on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. And boy, I went outside for a few minutes today and I got a sunburn, apparently. Either that or staring at that screen too long. What the heck? Anyway, PJ Masks on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you here tomorrow.